Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now I want to talk a little bit about national currency, national banknotes. Even though that's not the featured note, you'll see the tie-in later. National banknotes came about because obsolete banknotes were produced by banks across the country, and there was no way to verify whether or not that particular bank was still in existence. The bank could have went out of business, making the banknotes obsolete, which is why the government sent out people to issue charters to banks that were still active, and that way the national banknotes could be printed, so you would know that those banks had charters and their money was good. But like I said, prior to national banknotes, with obsolete notes, you never knew. So the further away you got from a bank, a particular bank, the less likely anybody heard of that bank or knew that that note had any value. So the further away you got, the less value your money actually had. Now, that's an interesting side note, but when you put that in perspective, what they're basically saying is that the further out you are from massive areas of population, the less likely it is for you to see basically any paper money. Um, you got to remember, we're talking about a time when the half penny was still around. Um, Even if that had just gone away, the penny was the way to go. And right around the turn of the century, remember, you could buy a Model T, a brand new Model T in any color you wanted as long as it was black, for what was the price? $400? um, so yeah, when you start thinking about stuff like that, what's a car cost now? $40,000? That's 100 times as much. So yeah, that makes a $5 bill essentially close to $500 today. Well, not exactly, but you get the idea. Most people were dealing with money in change, not necessarily in paper money like we deal today. So because of that, people didn't see a lot of paper money. All right, when I bring out my bill from my box today, this will all make a lot more sense. All right, let's get these out of the way and take a look at what I found this week as I start dropping stuff. Starting off with a trinary. 4s, 5s, and 6s. Just that 1 6 there. Otherwise, that would have been a binary. Really good shape on that one, too. 1s, 3s, and 9s. This one's quads. Quad 3s, and it's got a 5th. Quad 5s with a 5th, and it's a trinary. That's kind of cool. 0s, 3s, and 5s. Quad 7s with a 5th. Quad 8s. Some stars. 2017 star. Always checking to see if they're filled or not. Another 2017 star. Another 2017. And yes, when I do my after the hunt videos, that's when I look up to see if any of my stars are rare. I can just pull up the chart, put all my stars in order, and it takes me 5 minutes to go through 100 stars. Whereas it takes the average person about 2 minutes to type up every single number in each note that they search. So I don't bother wasting that much time with it. 2017 star, this one's in rough shape. Another 2017, this one's nicer though. 2013 star, another 2013, and another 2013B. There we go. That might be in the range. I got to double check to see if that's in the range of the duplicates. Some people claim these are $30. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's see. Then the older notes. 2003A. I collect 2003A and back just because they're over 20 years old, and the average lifespan of a note is only 7 years. So nobody saves 2003As. So if you're looking to put a set together, well, good luck finding those particular notes. However, I've got them. 1999, that one's pretty rough. 1995, not a web note. Another 95, also not a web note. Another 95. 1993, still not a web note. You're looking right over here, basically. If it just has the small little number, that would make it a web note, easiest way to tell. Also right here, This is the location on the sheet. Web notes were printed on a web-fed press, so there is no location on the sheet. It was done on one continuous roll. And the other option is on the back of the note. Normal notes have the plate number right here, and on a web note it'll be up here. So there's 3 ways to verify if you ever have a web note. They were only available in 1988A, 1993, and 1995. And here's an 88A. So I had all kinds of shots at a web note, but no luck. This one's actually still kind of crisp too. And the oldest note I found this week, this is a 1985. So those are my finds this week. What did I bring out? Well, I thought this was interesting. I had to get this. Like I said, back in the day, and by back in the day, I'm talking the turn of the century, the turn of the last century, 1800 to 1900, not a lot of people were dealing with paper money. Your entire bill at the grocery store would be under $1. So to see larger denominations than $1, well, that the further from cities you got, the less likely it was for people to see them and to know exactly what to look for, which is why you can find stuff like this. This is just awesome. This is an 1899 $5 silver certificate, and as you can see, it's a counterfeit. This is a contemporary counterfeit, which means a counterfeit of the time. If I remember, it's got a punch right here. It's got the gigantic counterfeit stamp across there. And let's see, my other counterfeit was cut. This one isn't cut, it's just in fairly rough condition. But considering how old it is and considering the quality of the paper, I mean, the quality of the paper is a giveaway in and of itself. When you handle paper money today, it has the exact same feel as it had in 1862. They use the same paper. The whole reason for that is why we haven't gone to polymer notes. When someone hands you a $1 bill or a $10 bill, it feels right, versus if someone was to hand you a piece of paper. This is on really thin paper, and the more you look at it, you can see how it's just not clearly done. It almost looks like it was a photograph that was projected onto paper. I mean, I can't even imagine how it was done, but yeah, when you look at it, all the patterns and stuff just kind of getting muddy. They're not sharp, they're not crisp, and even with damage on the note, you can still see the fuzziness of the image itself. You look at the letters, there's supposed to be all kinds of detail in these letters. The background here just seems, like a snow screen on TV when there's no channel. Looking at the back, same thing. All the details in the intricate designs are just really muddy. So at a glance, it looks right. The thing is, if you have a real one and hold them side by side, okay, let's look at the V. See how crisp this is? Dark, fine lines, crisp. And this is all broken up and shadowy. Look at the detail here. Look at the detail around this 5 and in this background compared to the detail and how it's all just kind of muddy and you can't even make out what's supposed to be in this area here. The Indian chief himself almost looks like a cartoon versus what looks like a photograph. Once again, side by side, see if I can get them both in here. So yeah, you can see the detail in the face. When you look at the lettering, once again, you can see the difference. Yeah, this stands out quite a bit. This is the real note. Look at the detail here, just from light to dark, how that goes. And look at here. It's just completely blobbed over. Let's check a look. Let's check out this side here. Once again, here you've got gradual light to dark, gradual light to dark. And here you've got muddy mess. Look at all the details that are right here. and how they're not visible on this side here. So yeah, if you didn't have one of these to compare it to back in the day, you may not have ever handled one of these. So when somebody brings this one out and tries to cash it, they'd probably get away with it more often than you'd expect. But then again, with most people not seeing one, they may take a close look. Still, if you always deal with pennies and nickels and someone puts this in front of your face, you may just be in awe of what it is. Now, yeah, it is a contemporary counterfeit. I mean, this note is worth $1,000 or maybe more. But the counterfeits, well, I don't know. I don't know how many of these actually exist. You'd have to assume that they were destroyed for the most part. So I don't know how this one survived all this time. And you really got to wonder how many of these are left out there, which is why when I saw it, I had to pick it up. I also have the 1862 $1 counterfeit note as far as genuine counterfeits go. And as far as modern counterfeits, I am under the impression that it is illegal to own counterfeit currency. Since this is not circulated anymore, this would be legal to have, but to have counterfeit currency of current notes, I don't believe that's legal. So that's why you don't see me with those. I've seen them for sale on eBay, which makes me question the seller. And it turns out that the last one I saw was coming from France. May or may not be real, I don't know. But this, I believe, is a true counterfeit. And yeah, I thought that was really cool. All right, if you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. I love reading all your comments. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.